subject line, please state the nature of your crisis.
Hey everyone, William Furno here today, and I'm back with the Hero Factory Nostalgia Reviews. We're finally kicking off here with the larger Brain Attack sets, and we're starting off with Furno XL, which right out the gate, I just have to say, is one of my favorite sets. So let's get into it. Let's look at the packaging here. So this was actually the first year that we received like this large bagged packaging. Before this year, I think we just had small and medium-sized bags. Not a really big deal or anything, just something of note that I guess if a set were to retail for $20, they were starting to put it in these bags now. You do get 100 points for this set. On the back, he combines with Pyrox, and then, again, 1,000 points to the game. Here is the instruction booklet with a larger look at the standard Brain Attack comic from that year. In the back here, have a large look at the game. You can actually kind of see those screenshots better now. The combiner model between him and Pyrox, and a great large ad for the face filter part of the app, in which, again, if you are to do this, you have to do it at 4:20 a.m. That's what LEGO wants. LEGO, the company, has endorsed that they want you to do this at 4:20 a.m. to do the face filter thing.
Furno! Hey, Furno! Daniela Capricorn, Hero Newswire.
Hey, Daniela. I'm a big fan.
Oh, you.
Well, you guys know what time it is. It is Furno o'clock. So, let's take a look at him here. This is Furno XL, the XL version of Furno. As they were doing throughout the years, they'd give the XL set to one of their heroes. And this year it was Furno. And this is hands down the best version of Furno that there is. And I had to think about that, because obviously Furno is my favorite character. And so I had to think about, what is my favorite rendition of Furno? And the 1.0 is, that's the basic. I don't know if the 1.0 stuff is anyone's favorite, but it's basic. 2.0 is weird. It was cool, but weird. 3.0, he was an eagle, and honestly, none of those are my favorites, because, I don't know, they're weird, they're cool, but they're not my favorites. Breakout, although it was probably a runner-up for this, for my number one spot for Furno, he had like the weird water aesthetic going on because he was fighting Jawblade, and I didn't really think that was the ultimate version of Furno that you could land on. This is without a doubt the coolest Furno, the most faithful interpretation of the character that we had ever received. And it's worth noting that in the Brain Attack special from 2013, he was voiced by none other than Josh Keaton, who played Spider-Man in The Spectacular Spider-Man, which is hands down, one of the best pieces of Spider-Man media out there.
Yoo-hoo! Excuse me, can I come in this way, or do I have to break my own window?
They're closing in from all directions. Beta team, Gamma team, cover sectors 6 and 9. Theta, cover the rear in sector 12. Man, this new visor's awesome.
So, now that we got that all out of the way, I'm going to tell you guys why I like this set so much. First of all, for an XL set, it's balanced incredibly well. What I mean by that is that with Rocka XL, he was just a behemoth of gold and spikes in a mess. And Stormer XL, while more scaled back, was just super disproportional. This set, it knew exactly what it needed to do to the rest of it in order to make it a larger set. The first thing being the mask. Now, although this isn't my favorite version of the Furno mask that goes to, his regular 1.0 mask, this is a pretty good interpretation of it for the Brain Attack wave. It doesn't really look that awkward. It could be used as probably a standalone mask, and it's big enough to look like it fits on the XL set. And the visor, obviously it's designed this way so that the visor can sit on it perfectly, which it does. And although I'm not a huge fan of the printed visors, I think it works. I think the other option maybe that they might have considered was to make like a trans yellow or trans orange mask or helmet for him. I think that would have looked bad. I like the clear printed visor that they went with. So yeah, I like the mask. It's not, again, none of the Brain Attack masks are necessarily like my favorite out of the heroes, but Furno's is one of the more well-designed ones where it doesn't look so weird without the visor on it. Next on here we have the weapons, which I really love. Now I wish they would have put an actual hand on Furno, but that's a really small little complaint, little critique. The shield itself is really cool. I love that these two have pieces meet in the middle to make the Hero Factory symbol, and I love that they filled out the space here on the sides with these flame pieces. Same with the sword here, they just made it look very royal, very cool, very imposing, you know, where there was a spot where they could put more sharp looking things or a fire blade shooting out of it. They did. They didn't pull their punches on this. They even put a little armor piece on the hilt to make it look bigger, which is really, really cool. I also love how they attached the spiky armor pieces to his shoulders. I think they did it well. I think it looks good. I like it in general. I like that they didn't just go for a basic armor shell on the top here. And then the chest, in order to make that look better, I think this design is really cool. You can also move these around if you want to, but they were meant to just kind of rest in between here on his torso armor. They did a really good job just balancing that, making it look good, covering up kind of the weird shoulder build that they have going on here because his shoulders need to be higher. And then the legs, although they are basic, they do look pretty good. I know that some people have a complaint with when Lego uses like the upside down torso piece for the legs, that they kind of look like bell bottoms, and I don't disagree with that, but I do think it works for this set just because he is so top heavy that they kind of needed to add some weight at the bottom, and so I kind of like how that looks. I do think they could have done a little bit more with the back of the legs, but because there's a cape, honestly it's not really a big deal.
Blank heroes, and lots of them. And they look as evil as the possessed creatures we were dealing with outside.
Again, I always like the brain attack heroes because they go for that hand-to-hand combat aesthetic where they have swords and shields. Furno is obviously no exception. I love the addition of like silver to all the heroes. It feels like a proper metallic evolution of the characters, and Furno again is no exception. I think normally when they mix gunmetal and silver it looks a little wonky, but again they balanced it quite well here. And then of course it comes with this cape, so Furno is now wearing a cape, which I just think is one of the best design choices of the set. I think they make him the leader in the show, so I think this definitely, I mean, he definitely looks like he's the team lead, like he's calling the shots, you know? Everything about this set, proportional wise, color scheme wise, just coolness factor of it, it all works for me. It all works. There's not much in the way of, say, like playability, like there's not a lot of like functions or anything like that other than like the visor going up and down, but it's a really, really solid figure. Like in terms of like Lego's buildable action figure, the large figure sets, like this is one of the best ones that they ever made. It just stands well, it looks good all around. This is my favorite rendition of Furno, and by far I think my favorite Brain Attack set. I can't think of a set that I like more than this one out of the entire Brain Attack wave, but I guess I'll decide that maybe closer to my whole wave overview.
Surge, can you hear me in there?
Don't bother. Let's just get that evil brain off his head and...
We don't want to fight you, Surge. But it looks like we are gonna have to fight this army.
Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. I mean, I've pretty much praised him. I think if I were to give him any critiques, you can't really move the arms forward too much just because of the chest armor, but you kind of can. You can get around it. But yeah, if I were to give it like any sort of critique, it would probably be that. But again, that's pretty small. I would highly, highly recommend purchasing this set if you don't have it. I'll link the Bricklink stuff down below. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching this Furno XL review. Next week, we're taking a look at Dragon Bolt, so stay tuned for that one.
Hey, wall crawling's my shtick. Hey, you start spinning a web and I'll sue.
And the animals are leaving for their homelands.
Good to hear, Zib. Great to have you back, pal.
Well, it's good to be back.